SAO is hands down the worst anime ever made. The writing is lazy, full of plot holes, and it feels like the author just made stuff up as he went along. It's obvious he didn't do any basic research and has no clue how MMOs actually work. The game mechanics are a total mess, and nothing makes sense. If you enjoy MMOs, stay far away from SAO. The awful game design will just make you angry and frustrated. Additionally, the characters in SAO are lifeless and forgettable. None of them have real depth or development. They exist just to push the story forward, but there's nothing interesting about them. Every interaction feels forced, and their relationships have no real chemistry. The action is a joke. There's no tension because Kirito wins everything without trying. No strategy, no struggle, just flashy attacks with zero weight behind them. Even the animation can't save it because the fights are so dull. It's honestly baffling how anyone unironically likes SAO. Some people actually think SAO is the best thing ever. They must not realize that other movies and shows exist because compared to literally anything else, SAO is straight up garbage. There are so many better movies and shows out there that you could be watching instead. I'd highly recommend watching the Witcher series on Netflix instead. It's everything SAO wishes it could be, and more. The story is gripping, full of rich lore, deep characters, and intense action. The world feels alive, filled with political intrigue, dangerous monsters, and morally complex choices that keep you hooked. The fight scenes are on another level, choreographed to perfection with brutal, fast-paced swordplay that actually has weight and strategy. The magic system makes sense and plays a real role in the story instead of just being pulled out of nowhere. On top of that, the cinematography, soundtrack, and world building are top tier, making every episode feel like a high-budget fantasy movie. If you want a dark, mature, and well-written fantasy series with actual stakes and great storytelling, The Witcher is the way to go. Don't waste your time with SAO when you could be watching something that actually delivers. The spin-offs are also really good, and Nightmare of the Wolf is a perfect example of why. This animated prequel dives deep into the Witcher world. The animation is stunning, with fluid, brutal fight scenes. The action is fast, intense, and beautifully choreographed, making every fight feel impactful. The story is just as strong, giving us a deeper look at the history of the Witchers, their struggles, and the events that shape their world. It expands on the lore in a way that feels fresh and meaningful, not just like filler. The characters are compelling, the voice acting is top-notch, and the pacing keeps you hooked from start to finish. Let's check out what makes this movie so great, and then we'll talk about some other Netflix original movies.
Get ready to dive into an electrifying journey as we explore the wonders of The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf. The movie captivates from its opening scene as a young boy's melodic voice fills the air with a song. It brings to mind the launch cinematic of The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, titled A Night to Remember. The parallel draws us deeper into the world, igniting anticipation for what lies ahead. Theo James's remarkable vocal performance as Vesemir effortlessly embodies the iconic character. James's commanding yet nuanced voice resonates with emotion. From moments of strength to glimpses of susceptibility, James weaves a symphony of feelings, transporting audiences into the treacherous world of The Witcher and leaving them eagerly craving for more. Brace yourself for a battle of epic proportions as Vesemir clashes with this formidable creature. Through a harmonious blend of blades and primal energies, the battle demonstrates the unmatched agility and lethal accuracy possessed by the Witchers, creating a mesmerizing display of supernatural skill and raw determination. The screen bursts with an animation that is both fluid and dynamic, enchanting viewers with every frame. The meticulously crafted animation engages your senses. With an art style akin to the aesthetics found in Japanese anime, each scene becomes a tapestry of vibrant colors and expressive character designs, immersing you in a world where every movement is infused with a sense of kinetic energy, elevating the movie to new heights of artistic brilliance. The animation was done by the renowned Studio Mir, whose gorgeous artistry has breathed life into countless other movies and shows. Studio Mir's visionary team of animators and artists possess an unrivaled passion for their craft, pouring their hearts and souls into each frame, resulting in a visual feast. The movie smoothly blends 2D and 3D artistry. Recognizing the limitations of 2D animation, the animators ingeniously employed a fusion that unleashes boundless possibilities. When it came to creating Vesemir's character design, an array of concepts emerged, drawing inspiration from both Japanese anime and American animation. Furthermore, Vesemir's attire revealed an astonishing array of 20 to 30 unique costume options, each an artistic testament to his multifaceted persona. The movie's logo is absolutely mind-blowing. The majestic wolf exudes an aura of raw resilience and primal power. Laura Pulver expertly voices the character of Tetra Gilchrist. Be intrigued by the nuances that Pulver brings to the role. With a voice that dances between velvety seduction and dominating authority, Pulver exemplifies Tetra's intricate personality, capturing every subtlety of this enigmatic figure. Tetra breaks the mold filled with a design inspired by Japanese anime. This daring choice bestows upon Tetra elegance and sophistication. This extraordinary movie introduces elves, evoking echoes of other treasured fantasy franchises like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. With their timeless grace, these elven beings add a layer of enchantment to the narrative, their bountiful lore intertwining with the story. David Arrigo Jr. and Jennifer Hale flawlessly voice the younger versions of the characters. Arrigo Jr.'s performance exudes youthful energy, embodying his character with a magnetic presence that draws audiences into the story. Likewise, Jennifer Hale's portrayal radiates with a charming blend of strength and vulnerability, showcasing the sheer talent and impeccable casting choices that make this film shine. The movie features a culinary masterpiece, the mouth-watering honey cake. With its golden layers delicately infused with sweet honey, adorned with edible artistry, and exuding an irresistible aroma, this delectable dessert tantalizes the taste buds. Indulge in the imposing vocal performance delivered by Graham McTavish as he breathes life into the character of Deglin, infusing every line with an undeniable presence that captivates listeners, solidifying his performance as an integral part of the film's allure. The movie unveils a creature so bone-chillingly terrifying that it will haunt your nightmares for years to come. The movie takes you on a heart-pounding journey through a chilling trial. This unflinching film fearlessly explores the harrowing reality of aspiring witchers, unafraid to confront the grim truth that innocent lives may be lost in the pursuit of a greater purpose. With each gut-wrenching twist and turn, the film questions the concept of safety in a morally intricate world where the price of survival and the fate of heroes teeter on a precarious edge. Observe the remarkable skill and determination of Vesemir as he confronts a multitude of creatures. Each encounter is a breathtaking display of swordplay, acrobatics, and visceral intensity that solidify Vesemir's status as a fabled warrior. This is a poignant reunion between Vesemir and Ileana, a meeting that transcends time itself. With the stark age difference between them, accentuated by the slow aging of witchers, this dynamic adds to their connection. Mary McDonnell's exceptional voice acting brings a rich performance to the older Ileana, infusing her lines with a mix of wisdom and bittersweet nostalgia, creating a compelling portrayal that enhances the bond between these two characters. Tetra weaves an entrancing tapestry of storytelling. Her words take tangible form through the ethereal dance of fire. The flames turn into living illustrations, painting vivid pictures where stories transcend mere words. The screen becomes a battlefield of extraordinary magic and combat in yet another astonishing fight scene. Each moment is a symphony of unleashed power, with the characters exhibiting a fascinating array of abilities and spells that illuminate the screen with a kaleidoscope of colors. The contrast between Vesemir and Tetra is fascinating to behold. While Vesemir exudes a kind-hearted nature and embodies forgiveness, his compassion and empathy are powerful forces that shape his decisions and actions. Tetra's demeanor offers a glimpse into a world where motivations may be shrouded in mystery and morality blurs. The chilling truth unravels before your eyes. In a shocking revelation, the sinister motive of Deglin is laid bare. He has been engineering monsters for witchers to kill, all for the sake of profit. This draws a parallel to a historical incident in Delhi known as the Cobra Effect, in which unintended consequences arose when locals started breeding cobras in response to a bounty offered by the British government for each snake killed, leading to unforeseen chaos and highlighting how the repercussions of misguided stimulus in economics and politics can unleash a cascade of potentially disastrous outcomes. As the layers of deception are peeled away, viewers can contemplate the elaborate web of choices and consequences that define the narrative. This fight scene pits teacher against student. With each strike and parry, the clash becomes a symbol of conflicting ideologies. The weight of their shared history makes this duel a spectacle. The battle scene is an incredible display of cinematic prowess. As the confrontation unfolds, it draws viewers into a whirlwind of swordplay, spellcasting, and high-stakes drama. The expertly choreographed fight sequences showcase the exceptional abilities of the characters. What sets this battle apart is not only its grandeur, but also the emotional depth that permeates every clash. The stakes are raised to their highest point, with the fate of cherished characters and the very future of the world hanging in the balance. The battle becomes a visceral embodiment of the characters' triumphs and sacrifices as they confront their darkest fears. Combined with a gripping soundtrack and attention to detail, the battle elevates the film to new heights of excitement, delivering a conclusion that lingers in the minds of viewers long after the movie ends. This showdown is a testament to the power of storytelling. The fight scene would be impractical to create in live action, primarily due to limitations such as time and budget constraints, so animation was the correct choice. As Vesemir finds himself ensnared within an illusion, the coins that Ileana are drowning in are created with striking CGI, heightening the eerie essence of this particular moment. The ingenious animators employed the banana pan technique to craft this mind-bending illusion sequence. The character takes center stage, while the background warps and morphs into new realms where reality and imagination collide. With lightning-fast choreography, a seamless blending of swordplay and magic, and a palpable sense of tension, the fight scene between Vesemir and Tetra leaves viewers spellbound. The heart-wrenching tragedy unfolds as Vesemir, in a devastating twist of fate, inadvertently kills Ileana and the mages, shattering the hopes of creating new Witchers, forever altering the course of their world. Witness the chilling consequences of a single illusory misstep, plunging us into a gripping tale where the stakes are unimaginably high. Ileana meets her tragic demise by the tranquil lake in a sad tribute to her earlier dream of owning a breathtaking lakeside house, where she and her handsome husband would indulge in delightful picnics by the sparkling waters. The ending unveils that the young boy at the center of the story is Geralt, a discovery that adds a whole new layer of connection to the esteemed Witcher universe. With masterful storytelling, the film serves as an engaging prequel, expertly setting the stage for the vast world of The Witcher. In this movie, Geralt is voiced by Harry Hissrich, the son of Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich, the showrunner and executive producer of Netflix's The Witcher series. The animators went above and beyond to capture the essence of young Geralt, crafting his appearance to resemble the dashing Henry Cavill himself. Their unwavering commitment to maintaining consistency deserves nothing short of thunderous applause. All in all, The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf transports you to a world of dark magic, epic battles, and well-written characters. This animated gem breathes new life into the lore. With its compelling storytelling, spectacular visuals, and a cast of beguiling characters, this movie proves to be a delight for hardcore fans of the Witcher franchise and newcomers alike. From the very first scene, the movie ensnares you in its atmospheric and gritty ambience, signifying a realm teeming with both beauty and danger. The animation is fantastic, consistently blending fluid action sequences with marvelous details. Every frame is a treat, painting a vivid picture of a land inhabited by sorcerers, bloodthirsty monsters, and powerful witchers. What distinguishes the movie is its ability to balance action with character exploration. Through superb voice acting and great writing, the movie shapes Vesemir into the Witcher we know from the game series. The supporting cast, including familiar faces from the Witcher universe, adds layers of charm, making their interactions a delight to witness. Furthermore, the movie excels in its pacing, never sacrificing the momentum of the plot for the sake of world building or character development. Every scene serves a purpose, propelling the story forward while delivering jaw-dropping battles, spine-chilling encounters, and unexpected twists. The movie ensures a stimulating ride filled with thought-provoking themes. In conclusion, The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf is an absolute triumph from start to finish. We're brimming with anticipation for what lies ahead in the Witcher franchise. There are also plans for a second animated feature film and a family-friendly animated series, both of which are currently in development. Thanks for tuning in and hit that subscribe button for more thrilling content.
As you can see, The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf far surpasses SAO in several key areas. It boasts exceptional writing, compelling characters, and an engaging, multi-layered storyline that draws you in from start to finish. The world building is immersive, and each character has depth and complexity that makes them feel real. In contrast, SAO falls short in these aspects, lacking the same level of character development, emotional depth, and cohesive narrative. It doesn't manage to capture the same rich storytelling and world building that Nightmare of the Wolf delivers so effortlessly. Don't bother wasting your time with SAO. There are way better options out there. Speaking of which, let's talk about some other Netflix movies.
Wish Dragon is a 2021 American-Chinese computer animated fantasy comedy movie. In this video, I'll break down the movie and explain the ending. Let's get started. The movie begins with a young boy named Din meeting a girl named Lena. Lena allows Din to walk home with her. Since both of their parents are late, it turns out that they live across the street from each other. Din and Lena promise to be best friends forever, but Lena has to move away. There's a 10-year time skip and Din is now a teenager. He works as a food delivery person. One of the customers gives Din an old teapot instead of money. We see that some bad guys are also looking for the teapot. During the night, Din sneaks out of the house. He brought the teapot with him, and a wish dragon named Long pops out of it. Long will grant Din 3 wishes. Every wish dragon has to serve 10 masters before they can enter the spirit world, and Din is Long's final master. The bad guys try to take the teapot from Din, but he runs away. Din wishes that he knew how to fight, and easily defeats everyone after Long makes him a kung fu master. Din escapes and the bad guys go back to their boss. Din left his suit behind though, so the bad guys are able to use that to find him. Din has 2 more wishes, and uses his second wish to get Lena back as his friend. Long makes Din a rich person for 24 hours, so Din can get into Lena's house for her birthday party. Long also turns himself into a human to be Din's personal assistant. Din goes to Lena's house and talks with her, but she doesn't recognize him. Din goes looking for Lena and finds her crying alone. She's sad because her father didn't come to her party. Din is about to tell Lena who he really is, but they get interrupted after Lena gets a call from her father. Lena's father arranges for Din and Lena to have lunch the next day. Din says that his name is Dan. We also find out that Lena's father is the person who hired the bad guys. His company is going bankrupt. The next day, Din, or should I say Dan, goes to lunch with Lena. The bad guys find Din at the restaurant, but he's able to escape with Lena. The 24 hours are over though, and Din isn't a rich person anymore. Din explains the truth to Lena, but she already realizes realize who he was. Din brings Lena home for dinner, and then they go to talk on the roof. Lena gets a call and has to go. She tells Din that things are different and they can't be together anymore. Din goes back home and takes the teapot. He's ready to make his third and final wish. He wants to be rich because he thinks Lena only cares about money. However, Long has something to show him first. Long reveals that he used to be a human, and he was born into royalty, but he was too greedy and died with no loving family or friends. The gods transformed him into a wish dragon as a punishment, and served 10 masters to learn the true meaning of life. Lena goes back to her father and tells him about Din. Lena's father realizes that Din is the boy with the teapot. Lena's father finds Din and demands the teapot. However, one of the guys he hired ends up betraying him and pushes him to the ground. The guy summons Long and wishes for everything he touches to turn into gold. Lena arrives, but her father dies from the fall. Din goes after the guy who stole the teapot, and Long sacrifices himself to protect Din. Long wakes up in the heavens, and his service as a wish dragon is complete. He's free to enter the spirit world, but Long decides to return as a wish dragon to help Din. The gods permit him to return, but only under one condition. Long gives the teapot to Din, and he wishes for Lena's father to come back to life. The teapot vanishes and Din returns home. Lena and her father also go to visit Din. Lena's father apologizes, and he's grateful for what Din did for him. Din's mother invites Lena and her father for dinner. Later, we see that Din and his mother have opened a restaurant. Din goes looking for a teacup and sees a golden one. Din summons Long again, and he explains that he's back to serve another 10 masters. Long gave up the spirit world to grant Din's final wish, so he has to start all over. Finally, the movie ends with Din leaving the teapot on a rickshaw, so Long can go and find another master. Overall, Wish Dragon is very similar to Disney's 1992 animated Aladdin movie. This was 100% intentional. Writer and director Chris Applehans wanted to do a modern retelling of Aladdin after he learned that Aladdin was originally a Chinese folktale when he visited Shanghai many years ago. Additionally, in an interview with IndieWire, Chris Applehans explained that the inspiration for the story came from how the world was changing so fast, and how do you figure out what matters to you when anything's possible? During research trips, Chris Applehans would observe half-demolished neighborhoods being gentrified. Then he would return 3 months later and see that they were all replaced by a shopping mall. Furthermore, Chris Applehans explained that the design of Long took the greatest amount of artistic effort. They wanted him to resemble the iconic look of Chinese dragons, with the reindeer-like horns and horse-like muzzle. The reason why Long was pink and covered in fur is because the filmmakers wanted to completely subvert expectations. It was a chance for them to do something different than what they would normally do for the human characters. Moreover, one of the main messages in the movie is how family is very important, and you can sometimes lose that feeling when pursuing other stuff. Jimmy Wong, the actor who voiced Din, talked about this in an interview with ComingSoon.net. Here's what he said. "Yeah, I think a lot of people will watch this movie. If you've seen movies like the original Aladdin, the story will be inherently familiar, but the way that it's dressed up and the way that it's presented is really different and really unique. A movie like this that focuses so much on sort of the journey of the two main characters, but also has all of these other layers to it, in terms of what is this kid going through? What are the societal pressures? What are the pressures from his family?" It really did have a lot of emotional moments to it that rang really true from someone like me growing up, that could just immediately identify with the characters, the way his mom talks to him, the way that his friends are with him, and sort of all these little elements. I think people are gonna be really surprised at how deep it gets, because on the surface you're right, it has a lot of fun, lighthearted moments, and it's definitely a comedy. John puts in an amazing performance as the dragon. I think those moments help you get a little more comfortable, so that when the real emotional moments happen, and the real things that tug at your heartstrings happen, you're ready for it. So I'm excited to see that. I think there's going to be a lot of people who feel a deep connection to the movie because of it. So John Cho voices Long in Wish Dragon. He's also been in a few other Asian animated movies, like Mirai and Over the Moon. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, John Cho explained why he picks these kinds of roles. Here's what he said. "It's partially what I'm asked to do, but also I would like to put Asian animated characters in the world, especially into American culture, which is my culture. All my work has been informed by what I saw as a kid, and my desire to please myself as a kid. Sometimes when I was younger, I would get a lot of roles or I would get auditions that were, well, is this a stereotype or not? And my litmus test was always, what would I as a kid think? Would I appreciate this or would I resent it? And so I suppose in some ways the animation stuff would be for my kids, but also for myself as a kid." Chris Applehans knows that it's difficult to make a movie for both Western and Chinese audiences. Here's what he said during an interview with CBR. "When I first came up with the idea, I had a very important choice to make, which was to make it here with a big American studio, which would have been a lot easier, and we would have had a lot more money to do it, or go and make it in China. I had one meeting with a studio in China, Base Animation, and they were a VFX company. They had never done animation, but they had this team of 20 to 30 Chinese young millennial types, and they were like, we love and relate to this story, and here is everything that is completely wrong with what you're trying to do. And I was like, this is who I need to make the movie with. I think the moment that mattered the most was choosing to make it with a studio in China, and with a primarily Chinese crew, and go live there for 3 years. And even then, it's still a Western movie in many many ways. From the fundamental ways the characters approach life, there's a sense of independence to the main character, to go get what he wants that's very Western in a lot of ways, but we're also living in a really connected world. When I talked to my crew and the filmmakers I worked with in China who are part of that generation, they were like, we're part international citizens now, and have a lot of influences, not just in traditional values and ideas of the family, but all the ones we see around the world. We're all cross-pollinating. I wanted to make a movie that's not meant to speak for China as a culture. It's also not meant to be some outsider third-person observation. It's meant to be a story about basically what happened to me. Here's one person's journey through this world, and yet it touches on questions and feelings that everybody has in all cultures. So let's make a story to serve the universal and the specific, which is hard, and that's why I'm very tired. Hopefully it worked. I think it's a new generation of stories with creators from different countries that share so much, and yet there's so much that's foreign to each other. I got to know my crew so well, and in some ways after 3 years, it was likely I barely knew them at all, and barely understood this culture at all. But I think it's the type of film that's really healthy for us to be making and connecting around. What did you think of Wish Dragon? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was pretty awesome. The animation was great and the voice acting was pretty good as well. Be sure to check out some of the other ending explained videos on this channel. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Awake is an American science fiction action movie. In this video, I'll break down the movie and explain the ending. Let's get started. The movie begins with Jill finishing her night shift and then selling. She goes to pick up her kids Noah and Matilda from her grandmother Doris's house. They get into a car accident, and water floods into the car after it falls into a lake. The police resuscitate Matilda and explain that power is out everywhere and all the cars are malfunctioning. Jill, Noah, and Matilda go to the hospital and discover that all the patients are fully awake. They go back to Doris's house and stay the night there. Jill can't fall asleep, so she meditates. Noah is awake as well. Noah and Jill see some shooting stars outside, but Jill says that they're actually satellites. Jill goes to work, but finds out that the whole neighborhood is awake. At work, Jill's colleague Brian talks about what happens when the human body doesn't get enough sleep, but Jill remembers that Matilda can sleep. Jill goes home and finds out that Doris took Matilda to church. The church's pastor talks with Matilda about his past. The pastor gives a sermon about Matilda, and the people there want to sacrifice her. Jill, Noah, and Brian come to the church to take Matilda. Brian explains that the scientists and doctors are trying to fix this, but they need Matilda. The pastor doesn't want Matilda to be a test subject, and Brian loses his temper. A police officer shoots and kills Brian. Jill finds Matilda hiding, and the two of them along with Noah run away to the woods. Noah says that Matilda should be tested, but Jill refuses. Jill goes to a garage to find her friend Greg, but the place is being robbed and Greg has been killed. Jill is able to hide until the killers leave. Jill steals one of the cars and picks up Noah and Matilda. Jill drives to a place called the Hub, and along the way she finds the dead bodies of the killers from earlier. She takes the gun from the corpse. Jill tells Noah about her other colleague Murphy. She's a sleep expert who used sleep deprivation as a form of torture. The characters continue driving to the Hub, but they need a book on mapping and stop at a library. Jill teaches Matilda how to shoot a gun. Jill and Noah try to use a map to find the Hub's location, but the car with Matilda in the back gets stolen by a prisoner. The man who stole the car comes back to also pick up Jill and Noah. Jill holds the man at gunpoint and demands to know how he got out. The man explains that his name is Dodge, and the guards went missing so he just walked out. Dodge takes Jill's gun, but she mentions how there are no bullets in it. The characters find a crashed airplane, and Jill shows Matilda how to siphon gas. Dodge talks with Noah and wonders where his father is. Noah says that he died in the war. Dodge goes with Jill and the kids, since they're all headed in the same direction, and he gives the gun back to Jill. Jill makes Matilda drive, but the car gets attacked. Matilda isn't able to drive away, so Jill takes the wheel and they're able to escape. The characters find the Hub, and Jill gives Dodge the car and allows him to drive away. Jill goes first to make sure it's safe. She sneaks into the building and pretends to be one of the workers. Jill finds a sick woman who can sleep. Jill wants the woman to raise Matilda, since she can't make it on her own, and needs someone to help her. Murphy is at the Hub and wonders what Jill is doing here. Jill asks her if there's a cure. Murphy explains that a cocktail helps with mental acuity, but it causes some brain damage. Murphy believes that nobody will survive, but she's glad that Jill is here. Dodge is back with the car, but the army confronts them. Matilda admits that she's able to sleep. Matilda goes to the Hub, and the doctor tells her that they need to test her to find out what makes her so special. Murphy also introduces herself to Matilda. The doctor is ready to test a sleeping gas on Matilda. It works and she falls asleep. Murphy believes that a solar flare caused everything to happen. The other woman who can sleep dies after going into cardiac arrest. This means that Matilda is now the only person who can sleep. sleep. Noah is also taken away to be tested. However, everyone at the hub loses their minds and starts shooting at everything. The doctor injects Murphy with air and she dies. Jill rescues Matilda and they run away. Noah electrocutes himself and seemingly dies. However, it turns out that Noah was asleep and he wakes up after being resuscitated. Matilda realizes that the reason she and Noah can sleep is because they both died and then were brought back to life. Noah and Matilda drown Jill in the lake, but then they resuscitate her. Finally, the movie ends with Jill taking a deep breath and waking up. Overall, the movie's main message is how the world needs a reset. Director Mark Rosso explained this in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. I think underneath it all, and this is going to sound extremely weird, but I was trying to make a more hopeful film. My central message in this film is that maybe the world needs a reset. Everyone needs to stop and look at the world in a different way. I really have a strong belief that that's going to be led by the youth of today. For me, that's very much what the film is about, even though it doesn't feel like that. It's really about this young girl who can sleep, and the new world that's upon us, and the hope that she represents. The whole part about starting over was brought up previously in the movie. For example, Dodge talked about how his grandmother said that all the world's problems could disappear in one generation if people started over. Furthermore, we know that the sleep deprivation in this movie was probably caused by a solar flare. Mark Rosso mentioned that they try to be scientifically accurate, and this was based on a real incident called the Carrington event. This was a powerful geomagnetic storm that occurred in September 1859. Overall, this definitely seems like a standalone movie, but if it does well on Netflix, I could see them maybe making a sequel where the family meets with other survivors and they try to rebuild the broken world. This movie was actually two separate ideas combined into one. Mark Rosso wanted to make a movie about a parent knowing that they wouldn't survive, but their kids would in an end of the world scenario. He talked to an executive who had an idea about a solar flare happening and nobody could fall asleep. There's also a lot of religion and faith in this movie. Mark Rosso was aware of this, but it wasn't too intentional. There are a lot of similarities between this movie and the real ongoing. Mark Rosso also discussed this. So what's next for director Mark Rosso? Well, he actually has a ton of projects lined up and ready to be made. What did you think of Awake? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was alright. Be sure to check out some of the other Ending Explained videos on this channel. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.
The Old Guard is the newest comic book adaptation that just came out on Netflix. If you're unsure about the ending and want to know what comes next for this franchise, then you definitely came to the right place. In this video, I'll explain the ending of The Old Guard. So it's been 6 months since Booker split up with the rest of the Immortals. We see that he's in Paris and drunkenly returns to his apartment, but to his surprise, someone is waiting on him there, and that someone is none other than Quinn, Andy's former comrade and lover, who was captured by priests and cast into the sea in an Iron Maiden. Quinn was supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean and continually drowning, but now she's here. What does this all mean? To answer that question, we must look toward the comic books that the movie is based on. Quinn is based on the character Noriko, and she's Japanese in the comics. I guess her name and ethnicity were changed for the movie because the actress playing Quinn, Veronica Go, is Vietnamese in real life. Furthermore, in the comics, one major difference is that Quinn, Noriko, was washed overboard during a storm. She was not deliberately drowned by anyone. Anyways, in the comics, we learn that Quinn, Noriko, is angry at the world. She's the main villain of the Old Guard, Force Multiplied, and she believes that immortals exist to make humanity suffer, not to save it. Quinn, Noriko, wants Andy to join her again so that they can destroy humanity together. This is probably what will happen in the sequel, but it could be different since there were several changes between the comics and this movie, and a lot of stuff was cut out due to time and budget constraints. Hopefully, we'll get to see how Quinn escaped from the Iron Maiden as well. A ton of other things could happen in the sequel. For example, Booker has already betrayed the other Immortals once before, so maybe he'll team up with Quinn and get revenge on them for abandoning him and forcing him to live in solitude. Whatever happens, we know that Andy is no longer immortal, so she's a lot more vulnerable, and she could actually die for real this time. Any fight could be her last. A significant difference between the comics and the movies is that in the comics, Andy is still immortal. She didn't lose that ability. However, it was changed for the movie because the filmmakers wanted to add more stakes. Never knowing when the characters would die added an extra layer of jeopardy for the immortal characters. Maybe Andy will find a way to become immortal again in the sequel. Merrick was working on a method to do that. Additionally, the comics show much more of Andy's past, so perhaps we could see more of this in the sequel. For example, Andy's first death happened in the mountains. Her strength and intelligence was a threat to her mentor, and Andy's mentor ordered the army to kill her. However, Andy survived, and she was even worshipped as a god for a while. There was a brief reference to this in the movie. The Old Guard has received a lot of positive reception from critics and audiences alike, and the possibility of a sequel happening is very likely. The Old Guard director, Gina Prince Bythewood, said that the movie was always meant to be the start of a trilogy. As long as the audience wants to see more, they'll keep making more, and there are definitely a lot more stories to tell. Moreover, several of the cast members have said that they enjoyed playing their characters, and they also expressed interest in returning for a sequel. There usually is at least a 2-year gap between Netflix movie sequels, so the earliest we'll see the sequel is most likely 2022. It'll probably be longer though, due to the whole situation delaying productions for many movies and shifting the movie release schedule for many studios. What do you think of The Old Guard? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was pretty good. The action scenes were awesome and it was very entertaining to watch. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
There are several Easter eggs in the new Eurovision Song Contest The Story of Fire Saga movie on Netflix. Did you notice all of them while you were watching the movie? If not, I've got you covered. In this video, let's take a look at 8 Easter eggs in Eurovision Song Contest The Story of Fire Saga. This video will of course contain spoilers, so make sure you watch that movie first before watching this video. Anyways, let's get started. Number 1. Viking. One of Iceland's contestants is called 21st Century Viking. This is a reference to Danish singer and actor Rasmussen. He represented Denmark in the Eurovision Song Contest 2018 with the song Higher Ground. Number 2. Moonfang. There's a band called Moonfang in the movie. This is a reference to the Finnish hard rock / heavy metal band Lordi, which was formed in 1992. Their song Hard Rock Hallelujah won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2006. Number 3. Street Performer. When Lars and Sigrid go to Edinburgh, there's a street performer playing the piano. This is actually Salvador Sobral, a Portuguese singer who won the Eurovision Song Contest 2017 for Portugal. Number 4. Guest. Alexander Lemtov invites Lars and Sigrid to his party and tells them to be his guests. Dan Stevens, the actor who plays Alexander Lemtov, started as the Beast in the 2017 live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. One of the main songs in that movie is Be Our Guest. It could also be a reference to the 2014 movie The Guest, which starred Dan Stevens in the lead role. Number 5. Hamster Wheel. Lars uses a hamster wheel during the semi-final performance. This is a reference to Maria Yaramchuk's performance of TikTok during the 2014 Eurovision Song Contest. A man was running in a hamster wheel during the performance. Number 6. Mahmood. This one comes from Reddit user Wetspam. Apparently the guy who starts clapping for Fire Saga resembles the singer Mahmood. He represented Italy during Eurovision Song Contest 2019 and finished in 2nd place. Number 7. Graham Norton. If the Eurovision Song Contest commentator looks familiar, it's actually Graham Norton from The Graham Norton Show. He's also the real BBC television commentator of the Eurovision Song Contest. Number 8. Cameos. There's a bunch of cameo appearances from former contestants of the actual Eurovision Song Contest. During the song-along part, John Ludwig, Sweden 2019, Anna Odobesko, Moldova 2019, Bilal Hassani, France 2019, Loreen, winner for Sweden in 2012, Jesse Matador, France 2010, Alexander Rybak, winner for Norway in 2009, Jamala, winner for Ukraine in 2016, Conchita Wurst, winner for Austria in 2014, Neda, winner for Israel in 2018. Well, that's it for this video. Did you notice any more Easter eggs or references that I didn't mention in this video? If so, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, what did you think of Eurovision Song Contest The Story of Fire Saga? Let me know your opinion. I personally thought it was decent. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Project Power is a 2020 American superhero movie. If you're unsure about the ending and want to know what comes next, then you definitely came to the right place. In this video, I'll explain the ending of Project Power. So at the end, we see Art taking one of the power pills, and he gets the abilities of a pistol shrimp. Art kills all the bad guys, and then rescues Robin. However, Art falls unconscious and presumably dies. Luckily, Tracy's power is the ability to heal, and she brings Art back to life. The characters then escape the Genesis ship via a lifeboat. The next day, we see Art, Frank, Robin, and Tracy at an impound yard. Frank explains that he's going to find a journalist and expose the whole conspiracy and corruption. Frank then wonders if this is really over, and Art says that for him it is. Art gives Robin the keys to his truck and tells her to use the greatness inside of her. Art and Tracy then part ways with Frank and Robin. Robin goes to Art's truck and finds a duffel bag full of money, enough to pay for her mother's surgery. Finally, the movie ends with us hearing that one of Robin's rap songs made it onto the radio. What's next? Art says he's done, but will there be a sequel to Project Power? The answer is most likely yes. In an interview with Digital Spy, the movie's co-director Henry Juice said that they wanted to design Project Power as a fully enclosed, satisfying, and entertaining story. Although there are definitely many more directions the story could go, and the concept is so much fun. The filmmakers did have thoughts about the story going in other directions, but they wanted to see how the audience felt about this movie first. I do have a few ideas on what might happen in the Project Power sequel. Art says he's done, but that doesn't mean Frank and Robin are also finished, so that means the sequel can continue their story. Furthermore, in the movie we learned that the Power just an early prototype. They're using the citizens of New Orleans as lab rats because they want to develop a more stable and permanent version. Maybe we'll see this new and improved variation in the sequel. One of the main complaints about Project Power is that it never fully explores its true potential and takes advantage of its premise, so the filmmakers could learn from their mistakes and improve that for the sequel. I personally think that the superpowers only lasting 5 minutes was way too short. It would have certainly been a lot cooler to see the abilities last a bit longer. Hopefully they'll make up for that in the sequel. Apparently people were saying that Gardner also survived and escaped with a briefcase full of the power pills. Even though it looked like she was killed to me, we never see Gardner afterwards, so she might reappear in the sequel. Co-director Henry Juice explained that this plot thread was never resolved, and they didn't shoot anything to resolve it, but he did say that it was something interesting to think about. What happened to that briefcase of pills out in the world? Who exactly is Gardner? And what's she going to do now? Moreover, we saw how Tracy didn't need to take any pills to activate her powers, because she somehow already inherited that ability from her father. Perhaps there are more people like her, and the sequel can further delve into that aspect of the story. In addition to that, Tracy has the ability to literally bring people back from the dead. This seems like a really important plot point, and maybe Tracy will resurrect some more dead characters in the sequel, like Robin's father. Also, we never find out what Robin's superpower is. She doesn't take any of the power pills because she thinks it's too dangerous. Nevertheless, it will be really interesting to find out what Robin's ability is. I believe that it will be revealed if a sequel does happen. Robin will be put in some life-threatening position, and she'll be forced to take the power even though she doesn't want to. There are a lot of other areas the Project Power sequel can focus on as well. This movie only shows what happened in New Orleans, Louisiana. What about the other cities and countries around the world? It would be interesting if the sequel was set somewhere different and followed another group of characters and their experiences with the power. It's important to note that Project Power's screenwriter was Mattson Tomlin, who also co-wrote The Batman. What if Project Power and The Batman took place in the same exact universe? It would be pretty awesome if that was the case. Project Power certainly feels a lot more grounded and realistic than most other superhero movies, and that's probably the tone they're gonna go for The Batman, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. There's usually a 2 to 3 year gap between Netflix movie sequels, so the earliest we'll see a Project Power sequel is probably in 2022 or 2023. It'll most likely be a lot longer though, because the whole situation is delaying productions for many movies and shifting the movie release schedule for many studios. What did you think of Project Power? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was pretty decent. The action scenes were awesome. Overall, the movie was slick, fast-paced, and very entertaining to watch. I also like Jamie Foxx, Dominique Fishback, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performances in the movie. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Triple Frontier is a 2019 American action thriller movie. In this video, let's take a look at some Triple Frontier Easter eggs and trivia. The movie's title is a reference to the Triple Frontier, which is the tri-border area along the junction of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. It's an active South American center for contraband and money laundering. This movie has been in development since 2010. A bunch of actors were in talks to join the movie. However, they either dropped out, negotiations fell through, or there were scheduling conflicts. These actors include Leonardo DiCaprio, Mahershala Ali, Tom Hanks, Johnny Depp, Will Smith, Channing Tatum, Tom Hardy, Denzel Washington, Sean Penn, and even Casey Affleck. Ben Affleck himself first joined the movie in 2017, but he dropped out due to personal reasons, and he later signed back on in 2018. Catherine Bigelow was originally going to direct the movie, but she left to go direct the 2017 movie Detroit. Catherine Bigelow did remain as an executive producer of the movie though. Pedro Pascal's character Catfish is wearing a cap that says Standard Heating Oil on it. Standard Heating Oil is the company that Oscar Isaac's character Abel runs in the movie A Most Violent Year. That movie was also directed by J.C. Chander. Chandler and stars Oscar Isaac in the lead role. Maybe all of J.C. Chandler's movies take place in the same universe. The script was co-written by Mark Boal. He's an Academy Award-winning writer and producer who has written several other critically acclaimed movies, including The Hurt Locker, which won Best Picture at the 82nd Academy Awards, Zero Dark 30, and Detroit. Charlie Hunnam and Garrett Hedlund play brothers in the movie. They were not intended to be brothers from the start. However, director J.C. Chandler felt that there was too much physical similarity between the two, and they had very similar vibes. J.C. Chandler felt that it would be way too distracting, and people would ask too many questions if they weren't related somehow. This movie was originally going to be developed by Paramount Pictures, however they felt the budget was too high and dropped the project. Eventually, Netflix acquired the rights in 2017. The movie was filmed in Hawaii, Northern California, and Colombia. During filming, Ben Affleck revisited one of the filming locations for one of his previous movies, Pearl Harbor, which was also filmed in Hawaii. The main characters in the movie play ex-Special Forces operatives. They actually trained with real Special Forces operatives in preparation for the movie. Additionally, the actors trained with real firearms and real ammo. Adria Arjona, the actress who plays Giovanna, is also the voice of Ramirez from the popular video game Fortnite. Ramirez is the first hero and soldier introduced in the beginning of the Save the World campaign. Furthermore, the Ramirez skin is one of the many default skins in the game. The movie was shot on the ARRI Alexa 65. It's the first movie to utilize the full-frame 6.5K resolution in a unique 2.11:1 aspect ratio. This is Garrett Hedlund and Oscar Isaac's third movie together. They also starred in the 2013 movie Inside Llewyn Davis and the 2015 movie Mojave. They've actually known each other for about 10 years in total. The majority of the main characters have nicknames. There's Redfly, Ironhead, Pope, and Catfish. This was done to show that these guys all have a strong connection and know each other pretty well. The movie features songs from the heavy metal bands Metallica and Pantera. Lars Ulrich of Metallica actually helped with the movie score as well. The movie score required a lot of classical drums, and he was the one who did that. Director J.C. Chandler is a big fan of Metallica, and he was thrilled to get a chance to work with Lars Ulrich. Well, that's it for this video. What did you think of Triple Frontier? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. Also, let me know which is your favorite Netflix original movie. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications for my channel so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. With The Kissing Booth 2 coming out soon on Netflix, let's revisit the first Kissing Booth movie that came out in 2018. There are a bunch of Easter eggs and pop culture references in The Kissing Booth that you might not have noticed while you were watching the movie, so I'll explain some of them in this video. Here are 15 Easter eggs in The Kissing Booth. Number 1. Black Swan. Lee is dressed up as the Black Swan for Halloween. This is a reference to the 2010 psychological horror movie Black Swan. Number 2. Mean Girls. The OMG Girls are a reference to the Plastics from the 2002 teen comedy movie Mean Girls. Number 3. Pretty in Pink. Mrs. Flynn, played by actress Molly Ringwald, says that she wants to hear all the gory details later. This is a reference to the 1986 romantic comedy movie Pretty in Pink. In that movie, Andy, also played by Molly Ringwald, goes to Iona's apartment to tell her about the day with Blaine. Iona says that she wants to hear all the gory details. Number 4. Abraham Lincoln. If you pause at this moment, you can see that someone is using a picture of Abraham Lincoln as their profile picture here. Number 5. Killer Instinct. The game being played here is Killer Instinct 2013. It's a fighting game for the Xbox One and serves as a reboot for the Killer Instinct video game series. You can see the characters Saberwolf and Glacius fighting each other. Number 6. 10 Things I Hate About You. Elle dances suggestively on the table while drunk at the party. This is similar to a scene that happened in the 1999 romantic comedy movie 10 Things I Hate About You. Number 7. The Proposal. The towel tumbling scene here is very similar to a scene that happened in the 2009 romantic comedy movie The Proposal. Number 8. Braveheart. Hot Braveheart is a reference to the 1995 historical fiction war movie Braveheart. In that movie, Braveheart also had blue face paint. Number 9. High School Musical. The Kissing Booth's red curtains and lit letters is similar to the movie poster for High School Musical. Number 10. She's the Man. Elle falls in love with Noah at the Kissing Booth. This is similar to what happened in the 2006 romantic comedy movie She's the Man. The main protagonists in that movie, Viola and Duke, also fell in love at a kissing booth. Number 11. The Sound of Music. Elle and Noah wait for the rain to stop in a glass gazebo, and they start flirting with each other. This is similar to what happened in the 1965 musical drama movie The Sound of Music. Number 12. The Black Sheep. The book that Noah is reading here is The Black Sheep. It's the English translation by Donald Adamson. Number 13. The Breakfast Club. A variation of the song Don't You Forget About Me by the Simple Minds is playing here. This song was also used in the 1985 coming-of-age comedy movie The Breakfast Club, which starred Molly Ringwald as well. Number 14. Notting Hill. Noah's speech about love during the prom is a reference to what happened in the 1999 romantic comedy movie Notting Hill. Number 15. DC Comics. Lee and Elle are dressed up as the DC Comics characters Batman and Catwoman for their Halloween-themed birthday party, but this DC Comics connection goes even further. Joey King played a young Talia al Ghul in the 2012 movie The Dark Knight Rises. Well, that's it for this video. Did you notice any more Easter eggs or references that I didn't mention in this video? If so, be sure to tell me in the comments below. Also, what did you think of the kissing booth? Let me know your opinion. I personally thought it was pretty mediocre. Not bad, but not very good either. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Dangerous Lies is a 2020 American thriller movie. If you're unsure about the ending, then you definitely came to the right place. In this video, I'll explain the ending of Dangerous Lies. This video will contain spoilers for Dangerous Lies, so make sure you watch that movie first before watching this video. Anyways, let's get started. So after the big shootout scene where Adam, Julia, and Mickey are killed, there's another 4-month time skip. Detective Chesler visits Katie, and we see that she's pregnant. Detective Chesler tells Katie that the police were never able to find the diamonds, and Katie reassures her that she doesn't know where the diamonds are because Adam didn't tell her. However, during the final shot of the movie, the water from the sprinklers reveals the diamonds buried near the cedar tree that Katie was planting. So the big question is, does Katie actually know that the diamonds are there? I believe that the answer is no. Katie doesn't know the location of where the diamonds are. If Katie knew, then she would have uncovered the diamonds a long time ago. She wouldn't have left the diamonds buried near the cedar tree, because someone else could have easily found them there. Throughout the movie, we're shown that Katie was always honest and wanted to do the right thing. If Katie actually knew where the diamonds were, then I'm sure she would have told Detective Chesler the truth. Adam did say that the diamonds were in the garden before he died, but that's really vague and the garden is pretty big, so that doesn't mean anything. I think that Katie will find the diamonds sooner or later, and when she does, she'll most likely notify Detective Chesler and the police. Katie already has enough money for her and the baby, and she got to keep Leonard's house, so she doesn't need the diamonds to weigh down on her conscience, especially since her husband died because of them. The ending is pretty open-ended though and left to the viewer's own interpretation, so it's whatever you want to believe. This doesn't seem like the type of movie that will get a sequel, so I guess you just have to use your imagination. What did you think of Dangerous Lies? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was pretty mediocre. It was watchable, but it didn't really do anything to stand out, and it was quite predictable. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.